This is 270 Park Avenue, the new headquarters of JP Morgan Chase in Manhattan. Standing 423 meters high, it's part of a new generation of massive skyscrapers popping up in Manhattan. Hello everyone, I'm Theo, founder of Looking For, and today I'm taking you to the heart of Manhattan to show you the most impressive skyscraper projects planned for 2030. Let's start with 270 Park Avenue, a glass and steel monster whose construction is due to be completed this year. This huge skyscraper is none other than the new global headquarters of JP Morgan Chase. In 2018, the famous investment bank announced that it would demolish its headquarters at 270 Park Avenue and replace it with a brand new building that is twice as tall. The British architectural firm Foster & Partners was chosen to carry out this project, with the goal of designing a 60-story building 423 meters high. In total, 2.5 million square meters of office space will be delivered to accommodate 14,000 employees. Marketed as eco-friendly, the tower is designed to be as close to zero carbon emissions as possible. It will be powered entirely by renewable energy from a hydroelectric plant in New York State. In line with this green initiative, the architectural firm Foster & Partners also states that 97% of the construction materials from the old headquarters will be recycled and reused. The latter was decommissioned in 2019 and its demolition was completed in 2021. Measuring 215 meters, the former building was inaugurated in 1961 and housed 6,000 employees, well above the 3,500 originally planned. Interestingly, it became the tallest skyscraper ever demolished, surpassing the previous record holder, the Singer Building, which was demolished in 1968 after 60 years of service. It's a real shame because it was truly magnificent. In order to build the largest structure possible, the financial giant spent lavishly. It bought the air rights from the owners of neighboring plots, which are essential in New York if you want to build high. Another fact worth noting is that although the zoning regulations for Midtown East allow for the construction of a 477-meter tower at this location, the height of the tower was set slightly lower because the building would have required deeper foundations, which could have interfered with the subway tunnels and Grand Central Station's rail yards located directly below. Another detail, in order to obtain approval from the New York City Council to build its new headquarters, JP Morgan had to contribute to improving the quality of life in the neighborhood, notably by creating a new public square in front of its new tower at a cost of $40 million. A mere expense on a construction project estimated at over $3 billion. Rising 24 meters above the ground on an innovative column structure, the new skyscraper is profoundly changing the Midtown skyline. With its refined design and shapes, it's already very popular with New Yorkers. If you think the new JP Morgan Chase headquarters is impressive, just wait. Because right behind me at 350 Park Avenue, a tower over 400 meters high is set to be built. This new tower was designed by the same architectural firm that created 270 Park Avenue, Foster & Partners. For now, the imposing building planned for this address can only be seen in 2D. It's financed by the investment company Vornado Realty Trust, the developer Rudin Management, and the most famous trader in the United States, Ken Griffin. Griffin's companies, Citadel LLC and Citadel Securities, which specializes in trading, will be the main tenants of this new location. They will occupy at least 85,000 square meters of the 160,000 square meters that the building is expected to offer. The project also includes the construction of a 12,500 square meter public hall overlooking Park Avenue, and a $36 million contribution to the East Midtown Public Realm Improvement Fund as part of its public-private agreement with the City of New York. The proposed skyscraper is designed by Foster & Partners, who have envisioned a tower with terraced terraces, a series of glass flutes in the words of the architecture studio. A design that is reminiscent of the first version of their latest project located nearby, 270 Park Avenue. Estimated at nearly $4.5 billion, this tower, whose construction has yet to be approved by the City Council, is to be built on the site of an existing building that will have to be demolished. Construction is expected to last until at least 2032. With 62 floors and a height of 490 meters, 350 Park Avenue will significantly change the Midtown Manhattan skyline. In fact, it will become the tallest skyscraper in New York if the height of the roof is taken into account. To date, Central Park Tower is still in the lead at 472 meters. To reach such a height, Citadel and Rudin management must still acquire the air rights for the plots of land belonging to St. Bartholomew's Church and St. Patrick's Cathedral located nearby. Nothing is certain yet for this new record, as the height could be lowered if the purchase of the air rights is not successful. Do you like this view of the Chrysler Building? Well, you should know that it may potentially disappear. At least, that is, if one of Manhattan's most impressive projects comes to fruition, 175 Park Avenue. This new skyscraper, also known as the Commodore project, is set to rise to a height of 482 meters, making it the tallest skyscraper in New York when taking into account the height of the roof. The future Commodore Tower will be located just behind me, in place of the current Hyatt Grand Central Hotel and, of course, right next to the famous Chrysler Building. The plans for 175 Park Avenue, also known as the Commodore project, have been approved by the New York City Landmarks Preservation Commission. Designed by Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, one of the world's most prestigious architectural firms, which has worked on major skyscraper projects such as the Burj Khalifa and One World Trade Center, this new tower will house offices and retail space at its base, as well as 500 hotel rooms belonging to the Hyatt Group on the upper floors. This new skyscraper will be built on the current site of the Hyatt Grand Central New York Hotel, which is expected to take 18 months to demolish. Construction of this new glass and steel colossus has not yet begun, and it's difficult to predict a completion date until demolition of the Hyatt Hotel has started. One thing is certain, the work is expected to take at least 5 years, based on the construction time for other skyscrapers of this category in New York. Originally, this 85-story tower was supposed to be 501 meters high, but its height was reduced to 480 meters. However, this height is still sufficient to rank it as the tallest skyscraper in New York if we consider the height of the roof. In any case, if it's completed before the project we mentioned earlier, 350 Park Avenue. Otherwise, One World Trade Center will retain its top spot, with its monumental 124-meter spire, which brings the building's architectural height to 541 meters. In any case, when completed, 175 Park Avenue will dominate the Midtown East neighborhood with its extraordinary proportions. As a side effect, its immediate proximity to the Chrysler Building, one of the city's most beautiful Art Deco skyscrapers, is likely to significantly diminish the latter's presence. It's not that the future Commodore Tower isn't worthy of standing alongside the Chrysler Building. It's actually splendid and incorporates interesting Gothic elements into its design. However, its gigantic proportions and location are likely to overshadow the Chrysler Building. This proximity could well diminish the latter's presence. I would be curious to know what you think, so please feel free to share your opinions in the comments. A reference to the past seems to be the guiding principle behind one of the latest skyscrapers announced in New York, the Torch. This hotel skyscraper will be located at 748th Avenue. As some may have noticed, the top of the building takes the form of a flame atop a torch, a direct reference to the Statue of Liberty and the iconic torch she holds in her hand. At the top, a thrill ride could be installed, according to the specialist media outlet DAZN. There will also be a 360-degree observation deck with a swimming pool for hotel guests, promising breathtaking views across Manhattan. Designed by the architectural firm Oda, the torch is well underway. According to photos published by the YIMBY website, foundation work resumed on the site in early June 2025 after more than a year of downtime. Construction was reportedly halted due to legal and logistical issues, including lawsuits over unsafe conditions and unpaid subcontractor fees. With this delay, construction is expected to last until at least 2028 for this 325-meter tower. It may not be the tallest tower in the works, but it's certainly the most controversial in terms of design. Whatever one may think of it, This new tower will also profoundly reshape the urban skyline of Midtown Manhattan. It's here in the Hudson Yards neighborhood that we find the latest project featured in our video, the Affirmation Tower. Initially designed with blocks stacked from smallest to largest, the design has since been completely reimagined, as we will now see. When it was announced in October 2021, the Affirmation Tower was presented as the new giant of the Hudson Yards neighborhood, with a truly stunning design featuring 5 stacked cantilevered blocks, growing from smallest to largest as they rise toward the top. The development team, comprising the Peebles Corporation, McKissick & McKissick, Exact Capital Group, and Witkoff Group, entrusted Rotterdam-based architecture firm OMA with the complete redesign of this skyscraper, which will be located at 418 11th Avenue on a 4,000-meter square vacant lot right next to the new Hudson Yards Tower. This mixed-use project is being carried out in collaboration with the NAACP, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. It will house apartments, a convention center, shops, community facilities, a public observation deck, and the National Civil Rights Museum. The new design, which is much more sophisticated than the previous one, features a refined, multifaceted building with part of the volume pinched in at the second third of the tower. This element will link the rectangular geometry of the lower part with the square volume of the upper floors. The facade also incorporates vertical metal columns which, like 175 Park Avenue, give it an undeniable refinement. The height and number of floors in this revised version have not yet been disclosed, and it's still unclear whether the initial height of 570 meters has been changed. But if it remains unchanged, it will allow the Affirmation Tower to rise to the top spot among New York's tallest skyscrapers by roof height. One thing is certain, however. Based on the rendering, it's assumed that the skyscraper will easily surpass the top of Cohn Fox's 30 Hudson Yards, which dominates the Hudson Yards neighborhood at 390 meters. According to New York media outlet YIMBY, the Affirmation Tower's public observation deck appears to be located at an altitude of approximately 300 meters. The space will feature reflective surfaces similar to those at Summit, the observation deck at 1 Vanderbilt. The views of the Hudson River and New York City are expected to be spectacular. For now, construction has not yet begun on the vacant site where the tower is to be built. But if it is built, Affirmation Tower will profoundly change the Manhattan skyline. So here we are, in the heart of Central Park, where we're wrapping up this video. I hope you enjoyed this initiative to travel to New York for the shoot. Feel free to leave your feedback in the comments as usual. And just before we go, I suggest you watch my video on 432 Park Avenue, the matchstick tower located just behind me. You'll see that this tower is currently the subject of a lawsuit.